there, everyone. Welcome back to our show, Let's Talk Sarcoidosis. I'm your host, Dorothea Howard, and to my left is my co-host, Mr. Richard Hanna. How are you today, and Happy New Year?
Doing great. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, this is a great show. We have Mr. Powell again, back on the show due to popular demand, let me tell you, the owner of Magnificent Living. But let me tell you, we got a pumped up show because he has some things that's going on. So, Happy New Year, Carl,
Happy
and
New
welcome.
Year, and thank you. It's so nice to be back because I have to tell you that after I came here, it seems like my life has just been on this major roll. And,
Wow.
and I think I have to thank you a little bit for it because our videos got more hits on YouTube than anyone on my page.
Yes,
So,
oh my
awesome.
gosh,
Really
that's
great.
awesome. So we know we're doing the right thing.
And for the right people.
For the right
Yes.
people, absolutely. For the viewers watching and people, they need to share it with other people. So let me just get to the question because we have so much to talk about. And the name of the book, because you have this exciting new book out. So tell us about the book.
Okay, so the book is Recipes for Magnificent Living.
Yes.
And people ask me what was the magnificent part about. And let me explain that really quickly because we just talked about the magnificent body. When I opened the magnificent body, my focus and my thought was body.
Okay.
And I wanted everyone to have a magnificent body. I learned that it's not about the body part, it's about the living part.
Yes.
And so that's what makes life magnificent, is when you're truly living. And so what I try to do with my work is create ways to help people live more effectively and more easily. Because some people, if life doesn't go their way, they go into the shadows. If they can't do their diet the way that they want to, they just decide I'm going to eat whatever I can because it doesn't matter anymore. So I'm trying to pull people into the consciousness of living and living magnificently every day. So,
Oh, see, I like that concept, yes. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that falls into that rut that you're talking about. So what inspired the book?
a friend of mine, actually one of my clients, she had a garden this summer. And every day she brought me in zucchini and tomatoes. And then, you know, by the middle of the summer, it was starting to get ridiculous. I had so many vegetables in my house. Okay, and so I just started doing a lot of different things with the vegetables. So I thought, well, this is kind of cool. So I started to write it down with no notion that it was ever going to be a book. That was just kind of something I was putting on the back burner. 3 weeks after I decided that I was going to start writing down my recipes, she brought in a cookbook that she had written for a friend of hers who was sick. Her friend was dying, and she wanted to leave her favorite family recipes for her family to have.
Oh, wow.
And so she brought me the book, and the book was lovely. And so I looked at the book, and I went home, and I sat down, and I just, on a whim, typed on Facebook, does anyone have a good recipe for me? I said that's the day that Facebook changed my life.
Oh, wow.
I probably got 500 or 600 recipes. So now I'm
Just
thinking
from anybody?
from
From
everybody.
everybody.
So
Wow.
then I was like, okay, now how do I even sort these out? And so I decided, well, I'm going to have to do a couple of books. Period.
Absolutely. There's nothing
But
wrong with
I found my favorite friends from all over the world. I asked them for their favorite recipe and for their favorite quote. And so the book is Food, Philosophy, and Friendship. And what I learned in the process of cooking with my friend is when you cook with other people, you eat less because you actually enjoy the process of preparing the food and cleaning the food and watching the food cook and smelling the food. So by the time you sit down at the table, you're pretty much satisfied. You know, you're with
That's
good friends,
true.
you've had a good time, so you eat much less.
That is true.
And I found that when I was with other people who were sitting at the table texting while they were eating, I watched them because I don't sit with people like that. I
Right,
refuse.
right.
But I just see them shoveling their food down because they're unconscious of what they're putting in their mouth. So I think that when you are in a group of people and you're working with friends, it brings you into a space where you're conscious.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's true because I had an experience like that in Rome last year. And we took a cooking class. And we sat with 12 strangers from around the world. And you're right. When you're sitting there as a group, you're enjoying and you're preparing, and it makes it that much better.
Right.
Because you do take your time and you eat and you enjoy the conversation rather than, you know. So that's my next question. Are you a chef?
Am I a chef? I tell people I'm not a chef, I'm a foodie. I love food. When I graduated from high school, I don't know if you know this, when I graduated from high school, I weighed probably about 150, 60 pounds.
Really?
the year before that, in the 11th grade, I weighed 250, 60 pounds.
Wow.
So between the 11th grade and the 12th grade, I lost 100 pounds. But I never really learned how to eat properly. So I went from starving myself, because that was the first way I found to lose weight, to trying many different ways. But then I find that food is not like cigarettes or alcohol. You can't just quit.
Right.
You have to eat. And so I said, well, if I'm going to have to eat and I'm going to have to learn how to do this, let me learn how to do it well so that I can eat what I want. And that's what life should be. The problem with most people and their eating is they eat too much of what they want.
Right.
And one, it's not even as satisfying. Like, for example, for Christmas, I love macaroni and cheese. And I have a friend that makes cheese and macaroni. I don't even know if there's macaroni in there. And
You just know it's good,
yeah, I just know
right?
it's good. I love it. But she gave me a square, and I cut it into 6 pieces.
Wow.
And everyone looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, you know what? I want to enjoy this for as long as I can. So I have the option of shoving it all down at one time, and then I have no more.
Right.
So everywhere I go to eat, the second that I sit down, I cut my food in half. And I put half in the box. And I say, even if I'm hungry in an hour,
Right.
that's better to eat it in an hour than to make myself so full. And what that does is that decreases your appetite. So I wanted to teach people that you can eat everything, enjoy everything, but you can't have it all the time, and you can't have a whole lot of it.
I have to
So,
try that. Jeez,
yeah.
that's a nice tip.
And how long have you been cooking?
How long have I been cooking? I started cooking when I was a little kid. My mother got sick when I was a little kid, and my father, of course, wasn't cooking anything. So we just never had anything to eat. And of course, I love to eat. So
Somebody better cook.
Right. You can make a choice.
it was kind of like where there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
You learn how to do it. And so first, I learned how to cook all the things that my mother cooked.
Right.
You know, and I just asked her, what about this and what
Right.
about that? But then it just kept going and kept going, and I just found that I really enjoy it, and mostly because I enjoy eating. So I get to eat what I want, and I get to know what's in it.
Wow.
And I'm really picky about that. When I go to a restaurant, I don't know how much salt they put in it. I don't know if they use MSG or
That's true.
you have no idea. But when I make it, I know exactly what's in it. So
That's right.
that's what I've always cooked for that reason.
Right.
Okay.
And is it a healthy recipe book?
No.
Oh, wow. That's surprising.
There are healthy recipes in it, and all of the healthy sections, I'm holding a little plate that says healthy. So when you get to that page, I'm holding up the page and it says, look, this is healthy.
Oh,
That's great.
Cool. Okay.
But I wanted it to be for people to understand that you can eat what you want to eat. Enjoy food. Don't make food torturous for yourself. Because when you make it torture, you eat more. You know, because eventually you give up. I torture myself because I want this, I smell this, and then you end up eating tons of it because you didn't have it the second that you wanted it.
Right.
So my message is cook, do it with friends, eat less, and know what you can have and what you can't have. You know if you can't have dairy or if you can't have wheat. I found a recipe that someone sent me for pasta, and I thought, well, there are a lot of people that I know who are gluten-free.
That's
who
right.
eat gluten-free.
That's right.
Right.
And so
Myself is one.
I got a little instrument from Pampered Chef that you can actually turn your zucchini into pasta.
Wow.
And so I just learned how to make this fantastic zucchini linguine, which is in the book.
Oh, I bet That's
Good idea,
right.
which is in the book. And it
And
came
that's
from
healthy.
Yeah, it's healthy.
That's healthy. Yeah.
So there are healthy recipes, and there are ways to take the recipes and make them healthier. I use agave instead of sugar.
Okay.
Only because I'm just not really a sweet person.
Right.
So I'm a sweet person, but I don't like to eat a lot of sweets. Don't let me get that wrong. But the agave helps cut down on the sweetness just a little bit, but it doesn't change the consistency or the flavor of the food.
Okay.
Honey, for example, will change the flavor and consistency of your
Right.
food, but the
Okay.
agave will not. So
That's interesting.
And Carl, how many recipes are there in the book?
103.
Wow.
Which was it was even hard to break that down and figure out what were the best ones to put in.
Yeah.
But out of I'm going to be honest, maybe 400 recipes, we must have made 250 of them.
Wow.
And we just really looked at the recipes, which ones do we like the best, which ones were the easiest to cook. Some of them took way too much time, and people don't have that much time.
You got that
Right.
right.
And so the next book, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do fast meals and slow meals. So like, how do you want to cook? Because I like quick meals. Me personally, if I'm going to cook something,
Right.
or I love the meals where I can take my
Right.
chicken and put it in the oven and slow cook it while I'm working, and then come home and do whatever else I'm going to do with the chicken. But I don't want to spend hours and hours on end in the kitchen.
Right.
Some people love that.
Right.
You know, I'm waiting for the friendship part. So, you know, I want to get the food done.
Yeah, that's true.
And get to the, you know,
Get to the conversation.
Interaction.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Put the food to
Right.
the side.
Yeah, right.
So, what is your favorite food or foods, I may say?
One of my favorite foods. I love really crazy stuff. Like I said, like the linguine with a zucchini. I like anything that makes me feel good. And I like anything that when I know, I can eat as much of it as I want. So my favorite foods, I like single foods. I eat an apple when I wake up. Then I have a banana. Then I have, you know, an egg. Try single ingredient foods, because single ingredient foods, you know exactly what it is. This is protein. This is the, and then you can kind of build your diet for the day. I find that when I do that, then I plan my diet for the day. And that's ultimately the most important thing you do is plan. Because if you don't plan to win, you plan to fail.
That's right.
So
That's powerful. So, I mean, I know how important it is for me and what I eat, especially having sarcoidosis. So I definitely watch what I eat and prednisone, all that stuff. So how important is eating?
Eating is probably, I'd say, first. Even before exercise, I say you are what you eat. And you have to know what agrees with you and what doesn't. You know, you want to know if it's good for you, if your doctor recommends things. So you have to go by where you are physically first. But the great thing about the food and the exercise going together is when you lose weight, when you're in your best physical shape, you can pretty much take on any kind of food, anything you want to eat, you know, as long as you're not allergic to it. It's when we're overweight or out of shape that we really have to watch all the things we eat. So I think that you can eat better when you take better care of yourself.
I definitely agree with that. And how do you eat better? You know, so how can I eat better and Rich eat better, and, you know, how do you eat better?
Like I said, I make it a plan. I wake up in the morning with a plan of what I'm going to do.
Right.
You know, if I know it's Christmas and I know I'm going to eat a lot, like I ate 25 Christmas cookies, but I counted them.
Right. You knew how many you had.
Exactly. But I counted them.
Right.
And people look at me like, are you crazy? But I count. Like, today I'll have 3, and these are the 3 that... Life is a plan. It's like marriage is like anything. And I tell people, if you want to be successful in anything, you need 3 bones. You need a wishbone first, because you need to know what you're wishing for. And then you need a backbone to get through it.
Wow.
And then you need a funny bone, because not everything's going to be perfect, and you're going to need to laugh.
Right.
So with those 3 bones, you can conquer any mountain. You can do anything.
Wow.
So,
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Jeez.
And what is magnificent living?
But it's all about living. You know, we're here. We exist. We're breathing. We have the opportunity to do so much. So many people miss the opportunity of today. I don't want to miss 1 minute. I don't want to miss 1 second. I'm a giant risk taker for that reason, because I think if you don't take a risk, then you can never grow. And so many people miss the opportunity to grow out of fear. And I say fear is a 4-letter word that you need to get rid of. You know, because action is the word that we need.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with failing. There's something wrong with never trying.
Right.
So that's it. So that's why I'll tell you about my next venture. I decided to move to Hawaii, and it was a whim, but not a real whim. I always said eventually I'll get back to Hawaii. That's the place that I love. But I needed to do some things in my life first. In September, I went to Hawaii to work, and I got offered a job. And I was like, okay. And I came home, and I still had to decipher. And then I met somebody who wanted to buy my business. And I said, oh, someone wants to buy my business, and I have a job somewhere else where I always ultimately wanted to go. I think I'll take this chance.
Right.
And even the way that I look at it, if it was for a year or 2 years, I got 2 years on the beach, which I'll never complain about. But
That's
right.
I just think that when you stop being afraid,
right.
then life becomes like this magnificent thing that you get to live. And I tell people, that's the only word that I can say 100,000 million times. Live every day. But live taking care of yourself.
Right.
Because the better you take care of yourself, the better you have chances of living a full life.
That's true.
I see people that are overweight, and I think, well, that precludes you from doing a lot of things in your life. Right. I see them on the airplane and they're uncomfortable. I want to live through life very comfortably.
Right.
So I said all the things you can do to make life more comfortable makes life more magnificent.
Wow. I like that word, magnificent.
Don't you? Yeah, I love that word.
So why Maui?
Well, Maui. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been. It is the most majestic, wonderful, breathtaking, and I've seen the whole world. I mean, I've seen all of the United States, I've seen all of Canada, all of Mexico, you know, you name it, practically I've been there, South Africa, Australia, and I've seen a lot of beautiful places. But the second that I get off the plane on Maui, my skin feels different. I just feel it, and then my hair feels different, and I'm breathing more fully, and I think, this just has to be. So I think for each and every one of us, there's a perfect place. And for me, that feels like the perfect place.
But you know, I love Hawaii. I've been there many times, so I know what you mean about getting off the plane and just sniffing that air, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, you don't want to leave.
Right.
So what will you be doing there? That's the question. Because I'm so jealous that you're going to live in Hawaii. I'm going to put it out there. So tell us what you will be doing out there.
Well, the position that I accepted is with the Ritz-Carlton Hotel.
Oh.
And I will be working in their fitness area. And I will be doing special events when they have groups.
Nice.
So I get to, you know, do my lectures and do the exercise classes and do some cooking for them. Because I said, look, there were some things I really needed to do. And so when I negotiated with them, I said, I need to do these 3 things. I need to lecture, I need to cook and teach people about magnificent eating, but I also, you know, I have to exercise. So I needed all 3 of them. And they offered me all 3, and I thought, okay, universe, I know you're telling me, pack your bags. So,
oh my gosh. I mean, you know, what better place is Hawaii? You know, I can't think of anybody that would turn that down. So that's congratulations, you know, on this whole venture that you're doing. I'm really proud of you because you have just been one of those type of people that, even though I've only known you for a short time, it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
You know, it's been awesome, and that energy that you bring to everyone that you meet, I mean, that energy carries on with all of us, because it's almost like you have an electric shock and everybody start having that hype, you know. So I'm really glad to have met you for sure, and definitely you're coming back for the event. So, okay, now this book. So what are you writing another book?
I want to write a book. When I was on Maui last time, I went to rent a car, and the person at the car place said, oh, I knew you when you lived here last time, and he gave me a convertible for the price of an economy car.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to the Ritz-Carlton to stay, and I went to the front desk, and I said, oh, I worked here, but I've never stayed here. I'm so excited. And the girl gave me a better suite. And it just went on like that. And I realized that life is about the consequences of your actions or the repercussions of kindness. And everyone knows what happens with your actions. When you do bad things, what happens?
Absolutely. Right.
But we miss the repercussions of our kindness. And when it is apparent to you, life becomes more magnificent.
Yeah.
And so I want to teach people to notice. Notice what kindness gets you. Because the kinder you are, the kinder life will treat you. The more easily you will flow through life. Don't bicker, don't be bitter, don't be jealous of things other people have. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy who you are. Get to know who you are. Don't live from the inside, from the outside in. Live from the inside out. You know, show people who you are. I like what you said about me, which I thought was so beautiful. Thank you. This is all that I am. You know, so I just push it out and hope that other people will enjoy it. And God gave me this energy, which I love, and I know
we love it too.
And I know where it came from.
It's infectious.
Yeah.
I know where it came from, and I never dismiss, ignore, or not know how lucky I am to have it. And every day I live thankfully, and thankfully is magnificent. That's about flowing through life. So
it is. And you know, while we're talking about that, because I feel what you're saying is very influential, and there are many people that watch the show that are ill, and they may not all have sarcoidosis. There are other illnesses,
We
you know, cancer,
we all have something.
you know, mental illnesses, all type of illnesses, depression. So what would you say to viewers that literally are sometimes contemplating taking their lives, sitting down crying because they're battling all types of illnesses, not just one, maybe multiple illnesses? So what would Carl Powell say to people that literally need help and don't know what to do and just don't have that mindset that you have to keep moving forward?
I would tell them to start taking a gratitude journal, because often we miss how lucky we are. We get so caught up in the bad things that are happening that we're not even looking at the great things that we have.
Right.
You know, the great family that we have, the great support system we have. You have a place to live. You have a chair to sit down and cry in.
Yes.
Because some people don't.
There you go.
You know, so
Right.
learn to appreciate what you have and stop focusing in on what's bad. Take care of it, and take care of it if you can. You know, a lot of people are ill, but they know that by doing a little bit of exercises, walking, whatever they do, getting
Right.
some fresh air would make them feel better, but they refuse to do it because I feel bad. But if you don't do it, you're only going to feel worse. So I tell people, get out there and live. Acknowledge your gifts, because it's so much easier to, not for me, but for so many people I know, to sit around and look at, you know, the glass is half empty.
Right.
I always see the glass is half full,
Right.
even on my worst day.
Right.
Sing. I tell people that all the time.
Okay.
I think singing is so important because it just lets you, even if it's bad, even if you have to do it by yourself, it can bring you so
Right.
much joy.
Right.
My best friend, she and I have been friends 35 years. And the funny part about our relationship, we talk on the phone at least 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay.
And if I tell her something went wrong, she will find a song that goes with it, and she'll sing it to me. And I'll catch myself singing that song for the rest of the day. And by the end of the day, whatever it was, no matter how bad it was, now it's funny. You know, I just keep hearing her sing that song to me. I say, now this has gotten really funny. Sing, enjoy,
Right.
live.
Right.
Don't let the little things wear you down or beat you down. Let things lift you up, and look
Right.
for things and look for people that lift you up.
Yes.
You know,
That's the big one right there.
exactly. You
Yeah.
know, and when you're ill, it's easy to get in that low place. But remember back when you were happy. What made you happy? And then find those things and bring them back into your life. Life is not promised to any of us,
Right.
and we all have our trials and tribulations to live through.
Right.
But and I always tell people today, when someone tells me their problem, I say, okay, this may not be the lesson that you wanted to learn today,
Right.
but for some reason it's a lesson that you're learning.
Right.
So take from the lesson. You know, don't miss the message, because when you miss the message, it happens again. You know,
That's
if you
right.
keep living through things over and over and over again, it's probably because you're not listening to the whisper. Because you know, first it's a whisper, then it's a you know, a little nudge, then it's a push. You know, and if something has to knock you down to finally get you to get it, some people just refuse to get it.
Yeah.
So listen to what life is telling you, and enjoy all of the great, wonderful things you have.
Yeah, that's some good words to live by, that's for sure. So before we go off the air, is there anything else that you want to tell us about, any projects that you're doing? Or, you know, I know you're doing so much and it's just exciting and we're so excited for you. But before we leave off the air, what else is it that we don't know that Carl Powell is putting his hands in?
You know, it's really interesting that when you give to life, when you start to really contribute the things that come back to you. Like I came here and I did your show,
Right.
and now the Sarcoidosis Institute has me writing articles for them.
Oh,
And
wow.
putting things
That
in
is
their
so
magazines.
awesome.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
so I've gotten to meet a whole new group of people.
Right.
It's been absolutely great.
Right.
Both of my books are on Amazon. So
Okay.
you can get my books on Amazon.
Okay, okay. And then when they see the credits on the at the end of the show, they can see all the contact information and get in touch with you. And I'm sure that, you know, they'll be able to
You know,
order.
but I've been doing a lot of really cool projects. I've been working and helping people brand their business.
Wow.
Because I branded mine and I did everything myself. And people
Right.
started asking me, well, how'd you do this? And how'd you get your business cards? So I just made a little business where I help people get their brand together.
Okay.
Do you need a press release?
Right, right.
And Beverly's telling me something. Yeah. And also, and I have a website that I'm building called View Maui. Where you can go and you can see all the things that I'm doing.
Okay.
So if you want to see what I'm doing in Hawaii,
Right.
it's viewmaui.com. It'll be up after I get there.
Okay.
I already bought the website, but it's not up yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to do all the adventures and all the
Wow.
excursions and all the restaurants I go to, and I'm going to try to get into some of the restaurant kitchens and see if I can learn how to make Hawaiian food and share that with people. And
Nice.
so, I have
Wow.
I just want to go. You know,
You have more recipes.
I know, more recipe. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. You know, I'm looking at that airline right now,
that's
thinking
for
about.
you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I
This
wanted
is
to make- I
awesome.
wanted to make sure you had one. Everybody should.
Everybody should definitely check out the book, and at the end of the credits, make sure that you get in contact with Carl Powell, because he's doing magnificent things, you know. And I love the word magnificent because he's going to be doing all kinds of things. So definitely follow him on that Maui, what is it, View Maui?
ViewMaui.com.
ViewMaui.com, and I'm hopeful to get over there to see him.
So
and
you can view Maui.
So I can view Maui in person, and hopefully the viewers will too. We want to thank you for being on the show.
It's always a pleasure. I
Thank you.
always look forward to spending time
Oh,
with you. So-
absolutely.
and it was great meeting you today.
You
Yeah,
too.
I mean, the
Thank you.
energy is awesome. And on that note, I always say for all my fellow Sarcoidonians out there, we all have sarcoidosis, but sarcoidosis doesn't have us. Until next time, be magnificent and live positively and enjoy your life, just like Carl Powell said. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.